We are so excited because we have a very special episode today.
Yes, this is not your typical Flip It episode because we have a guest star who is here with us today. She's joining us from LA, and I want to introduce you to Miss Katie Rost.
Hi!
Thank you
I'm so
so
glad
much.
to be here with you guys. I love your show.
Oh, thank you so much. So Katie is a real housewife of Potomac.
Yes.
Woo! Potomac.
Yes. The season just started, so we are super excited to have you.
There's
Thank
gonna
you.
be so much tea that we're gonna spill in this episode. I cannot wait.
It was a
Okay.
great first episode, right?
It was a great first episode. We were missing you though.
Yes.
I come in later. I'm on episode 3, because they were shooting for about almost like a month and a half, and then the producers were like, something's missing, and they were like, it's Katie, obviously.
Hello. How didn't they
So
figure
I
that
had to
out
come bring a
before?
little spiciness. Those girls were getting kind of boring, so I had to come in and be a troublemaker, which I'm always good at doing.
Yes.
And it was so much fun. But I got into filming when they were already having so much drama, which you guys obviously saw in the first episode. They kind of, flashed forward to all the stuff that went on, and it was really intense and crazy. So I got really thrown right back into the mix of things, and all I have to say is that this season is insane.
Yes,
That's what we want to hear.
That's exactly what we want to hear. Well, we know you on the Real Housewives of Potomac, obviously, but we know that you actually had a very successful modeling career before you joined the show. So tell us about how you started, and are you still modeling, or what are you doing in that regard?
I'm not really modeling that much anymore. I do, an occasional thing, a lot more hosting than modeling necessarily, but I started when I was 14, actually like 13, 14, yeah. So I was, in that business for a very long time. Luckily, I had a great mom who was my manager, who made sure that I always had, excellent representation and, did appropriate things for that age. And, she really encouraged me to go to college and, get my education and do all of the traditional things that someone would do. And our deal was sort of, if I graduated and did it on time, that after that, it was, up to me if I wanted to continue modeling. So I became a full-time model in New York City when I was 21, which is actually kind of old for a model. Like, usually I was competing with girls who were 17, 18. But it was really fun, and I had some great clients and had a really great career. And it was one of the, most rewarding things for me because I got to travel so much and meet incredible people and really work with some awesome designers. My first job was for Chanel, so that was a great way to kick it all off. And so I did high fashion, and I also did catalog, J. Crew, Saks Fifth Avenue, that type of stuff. So I love modeling. I still am obsessed with. I love all of the new girls now. I
Who's your
obviously
favorite?
Kendall Jenner is my favorite.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. Like her at the Met Gala the other night, I was dying. I
Me
was
too.
like, she's so gorgeous.
I know. She's incredibly gorgeous. She wears those clothes very well.
She does, and it's been so fun. It's kind of like something that we all get to experience with reality TV, is to watch these people who are kind of awkward and their kids and their whatever, and then to see them transition into these beautiful goddesses is really exciting and fun for me.
For sure. Now, Katie, what is something that you learned during your modeling years? And is there something that you would like to share with maybe somebody who's trying to break in the industry, maybe a young girl who wants to get into this world?
Yeah, so I have been mentoring young women who are thinking of going into modeling. It's a really tough business, and there's a lot of scams and pitfalls out there that I would never want anyone to have a bad experience because they're trusting the wrong people. So I've sort of taken it upon myself to advise people on what they really need to do, which is first of all you know how it is these days with the camera phones, and girls are taking these pictures of themselves and uploading it, and and putting stuff out there that really it could really destroy your entire life. So I really am trying to encourage people to be very careful about the pictures that they take, and to also make sure that the agency, if it's an agency that they're going to affiliate themselves with, has a long and good reputation. And so, if anyone wants to ask me advice about modeling, or how to get into it, or how to find a good manager or an agent, you can go to my website, which is katierost.com, and ask me questions, and I will guide you to people who are going to be like actual, real good agents, photographers, makeup artists, those type of things, so that you don't end up, on Instagram showing too much.
Yeah. And you know what? I think this is great, Katie, because you were very lucky to have your mom there with you. But because there's a lot of people, a lot of young girls who don't have guidance. So I think that you doing this for girls that don't have that, it's amazing. Like, I think it's really great. And everyone that wants to get into that world and wants advice from somebody who's been there for a very long time and had a very successful career should go to katierost.com and ask all the questions.
Yes, no, it's all all free, and I'm just moving it forward. I'm doing this as a public service.
Wow,
that's amazing.
That's great, because it can be such a dangerous industry for young girls. They can get themselves into really kind of scary situations.
Absolutely, it's I have daughters, so and they love playing with my camera and being in front, and I just think, oh wow, it's just so easy to get into a bad situation or to trust the wrong person online. I just think you have to be really careful, and parents have to really monitor what their kids are doing, and just make sure that those traditional routes to the career of modeling, that's always the way to go. You want to go with one of the reputable and larger agencies. You don't want to be handing out money to people when sending them things on PayPal and you don't know who these people are. It's just it's still very scary. It's a scary world out there, and there are some creepy people. So anything I can do to help advance people having a nice and safe life within the modeling industry, that's kind of what I want to do.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to get into some tea. I want to ask you, before joining the show, did you watch any other of the Real Housewives franchise?
I did. I watched, of course I watched DC, which only was on for one season.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that they didn't bring it back, because I thought it was actually very entertaining, especially, for me, because that's where I'm from. I watched Miami. I watched a little bit of Atlanta, but I wasn't that huge of an Atlanta fan at that point. Now I'm absolutely obsessed. I those women are just amazing. I've been watching Beverly Hills, so been on the Puppygate brigade.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And I literally live down the street from Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant, so I'm always paying attention to what's going on at Sir. And
oh my God.
You live close to Sir.
Yes, I'm right down the street,
That's
literally
amazing.
2 blocks away. So I'm always, peeking my head in and being like, "Ooh, what's going on?"
Our dream is to eat at Sir.
Yeah.
Just one time in our lives. We just want to eat there once.
I think I've only drank there. I don't think I ever ate anything, but I heard the food is good.
We just want to have some goat cheese balls. I don't know if you watch Vanderpump Rules, but they talk a lot about goat cheese balls at Sir.
Listen, I don't like goat cheese, but just because they talk about it so much, I just want to try them.
It's like a deep fried.
Yes.
so.
Yeah. I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm going to pass on that. But
All right. So you told us your favorite cities, and who would you say it's your? It's just a little bit of a hot spot, but who would it be your favorite housewife of all time?
Right now, Lisa Rinna, actually.
Oh, that is a hot take.
Because I just her antics at Andy Cohen's baby shower, I just was like, oh my God, that is the kind of woman I want to be, sort of, not that, maybe not that much, but she was on the tables. She was turning it into a party. She was calling everyone, B's and H's. She was like going for it. And I just love it that she would be in a room with all of those women and would, dominate and just like put everyone in their place. And she even got Giselle up on a table dancing.
Oh my God.
Giselle's a little bit uptight. So
Yeah.
I was like,
How
it takes a
was
lot to get Giselle up on a table.
Yeah.
Like that was impressive.
Wow.
So kudos to her for that.
How was that baby shower? Because we saw little bits of it on social media, and it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually was. I wasn't at the baby shower, but I heard and I saw, and I got like a lot of pictures from people before it was even on social media, and I was like jaw dropped. Like I was like, oh my God, like that is insane. Like it turned into a full blown, Studio 54 type of party during the day. So it was, it looked like a really good time.
Yeah,
So I love Lisa Rinna.
I was looking at the Kyle Richards stories, and her beautiful white suit got destroyed. I was dying. She was like, "What happened yesterday? I don't remember how my suit got destroyed." It was
All I
hilarious.
thought she was doing the splits on the table.
Oh,
I saw
wait.
that.
Probably.
She
I was
always
like,
does
wow,
this.
that's bold. So
Her party
I like
trick.
Kyle also.
So that's
And
so
of course,
interesting.
Nini's one of my favorites also.
Oh,
I
Nini.
love Nini. He just cracks me up. Like I used to like I don't know if you guys watched what was that show with the singing kids? Glee.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you watch?
Yes.
When she was on there, she was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
such a good actress. So she's more than just a housewife. She's like a really, really, really incredible, actress, and she's done Broadway shows and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So I really have a lot of respect for her.
That's very cool.
Yeah, same. I do have a lot of respect for Nini because she's gone really, really far and she's followed her dreams. And I think that's a very good example as well, that as long as you fight hard and you work hard, you'll get there.
Absolutely. And it's a great platform to get to other levels.
Yeah.
People are sort of like Housewives can be a way to do so many other incredible things. So proud of Karen right now with her La Dame perfume line.
Yo.
I know I can't spray it through the computer, but ooh, it's fabulous. She just launched it at Bloomingdale's. Everyone should go get it.
Okay. All right.
Maybe
Like,
I'll get it
yum.
for you. I don't think I can wear it, but I'll get it for you.
Yeah, it's not. No, I don't think it would work for you.
All right, Katie. Also, a question that I always have, and I never have the opportunity to ask. What is the experience of filming a reality show? I mean, you saw the Housewives before, like we discussed, but what is it actually like getting into the show and having the cameras and the interaction with the other? What is it like?
Right. It's really weird. It's actually like completely surreal. It's, I grew up in front of the camera. I've, obviously started modeling when I was very young, worked on television shows, when I was in high school. So you would think that I would be very comfortable and used to what it's like, but it's so different than, your traditional scripted thing. It's like, you're kind of, sort of like, oh, there are these people that are all over your house and, in your space and cameras in your car. And it's just very, and at a certain point you forget that they're there. But yeah, it's like nothing I ever experienced in my entire life. So, some of it was great. Sometimes you're just annoyed, sort of like, get out of my space, like leave me alone, like I just want to go to the bathroom and just like shut everyone out. But it's also really funny sort of, being thrown into these scenes where, you don't really know what is going on with everyone's personal life, but it seems like all of the production kind of knows, and so then they put us all into this environment, and there are these explosive scenes and these really emotional experiences. And I have to say that it's extremely genuine, it's really, it happens in a natural way, even though it's set up, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it first season. This season was, I was a friend. So I guess I was a friend.
Oh.
Did they say whose friend you are?
You know what? I actually ended up spending a lot of time with Giselle this season. So that was pretty crazy because we hated each other quite genuinely. Like I couldn't stand her. And like on and off camera. And it was that was a real thing from first season. I was very annoyed with her. I felt like she was, very bitchy to me. And that, everything that you saw at the reunion and the emotions that I had about, identifying as biracial and all of that stuff. I mean, it was really going on.
Yeah.
That wasn't, a trumped up thing. And so there were some bad feelings that were there. And when she kind of reached out to me, and this was off camera, and we had a lunch, and we really I was like, oh my God, she's so funny. She's actually she was being really nice, and I was like, what's going on? Like, what does she want from me? And then we had a great time. Like, we had a lunch that was supposed to take half an hour, and we were there 4 hours later, just
Oh my gosh.
laughing and talking about boys and all of that stuff, and just loosened up. And I was like, I really like her. And so it was fun this season, sort of experiencing her in a new way. Like, she was more sisterly, and I'd say a lot sweeter, but maybe that's because everyone else was really pissed at her. So we'll see.
Tea.
Yeah, we're loving this hot piping tea.
We are big Giselle fans, so that's really interesting to hear that she's going to have that kind of season.
Yeah, but you know what? It's very funny because I was telling Miriam the other day that I was rewatching the first season, and I actually did not like Giselle in the first season. And I started just liking her, I think, second season, and now I love her. But the first season, I was like, no, she's not my kind of girl. I don't know, no. And now I love her. So
sounds like you have the same journey.
I think, yeah.
And you know who I really love? I love Candace. She's so. I told her.
Oh.
I told her last night I was going to start calling her Tissues Galore.
Because she cries
She
a
had
lot?
that tissue in her eye the whole episode. I was like, oh, Lord, really?
So many tears.
Yes.
So many tears.
When you were there on your first season, do you feel that all this drama that went on, did it take a toll on your personal life, like outside of the show?
It did, yeah. Because, I'm actually a really sensitive person. I'm a Cancer. So, July babies, we're very emotional and sensitive. And if someone says something to me, I brood, and it really, it'll sit there with me for a long time. So things that were said and done, it took me a really long time to get over them. And then I'd still be talking about them. I was bothering my boyfriend at the time about it, and, kind of being like, oh, is this true about, bringing it up all the time. And I sort of had to go to therapy and just get over it.
Wow. You actually had to go to therapy?
I mean, I talked about it in therapy. I was like, I don't think that that's right, what they said about me in this way and that way. And my therapist was like, oh my God, we're still talking about this, and I was like, yeah. I'm not over it. No, but it was interesting and fun. So, yeah.
So after your first season, you didn't come back. You had a little cameo, but you didn't come back full-time as a housewife until now you're going to be a friend in the fourth. So why didn't you come back after season 1?
Well, so much had changed. I felt like I'd healed from a lot of things. And then I also was being a lot more honest about certain things that had gone on in my life. I was a little bit cagey the first season. And there were things that were starting to happen with, custody stuff with my ex-husband, and a lot of trauma that had occurred in my marriage that I'd been lying about for a long time, that I decided to finally, like I said, I did go to therapy, and I was talking about things kind of that were very private and personal, and that I was trying to gloss over. And I decided to come out and say, hey, I've survived this abuse in my marriage, and I was too embarrassed to talk about any of that. And I was really scared that doing that would make me really vulnerable. And then I learned, by joining the Me Too movement, by getting, the help that I needed with those issues, and by talking about it with my family and stuff, that it was a really freeing and great thing to just be like, okay, this happened in my life. I experienced, this psychological, physical, emotional, sexual abuse. And, to finally talk about it openly really made me feel like I could do anything all over again. You know, like I was that 18-year-old, 19-year-old, you know, Katie who was strong and bold and fearless instead of, you know, spending all my time trying to cover up for someone else's, you know, sort of mistakes and their abuse of me. And so it was, yeah, it was a really great opportunity. It's something that I talked to some of the other women who were on the show about before talking about it publicly, you know, and letting them know that these things had happened. And there was a lot of camaraderie, there was a lot of support, and I was really moved and impressed by that. You know, even like, you know, Karen said to me, like, wow, you know, I knew that you were holding on to something, that there was something that was going on with you. And I'm just so proud of you that you're talking about it publicly finally. You know, get that off your chest and move forward with your life, you know? So, yeah.
So when you came back in the fourth season, after everything you had gone through and everything that had happened, was it different filming that time? Was it different this time around?
It was a lot different. It was funny because I really haven't been watching the show since I wasn't on it for the, you know, for season 2 and season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, you know, I guess selfishly I wasn't as interested in what, maybe I had some resentment, you know, that I felt like I was forced to sort of step away from it because of my personal, you know, life and issues that I was going through. So coming back, it was like I didn't really know what all of the drama was about. Like there were people who were in these huge fights and this you know, there were these things that had gone on that I really had no idea what anyone was talking about. So I was like kind of thrown back into stuff, and meeting, you know, Monique and Candace, I did not know them at all. So I sort of, you know, I got to make some new friends and relationships, and also see that there was a lot that had gone on in those past seasons where there was a lot of animosity and drama between those women that I sort of felt like I had to pick sides, you know? Right. So that was tough, but it was interesting. And I think, you know, everyone left with a good feeling about each other.
So are you happy you came back then?
I'm so happy. I had a lot of fun. You know, I love being in front of a camera. I feel like, you know, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So, you know, not doing that, it's sort of, you know, it doesn't feel, you guys know, that's what you do. So, you know, it's like if you're supposed to be in front of a camera, you're supposed to perform, and that's what you've always known how to do, then it feels a little bit strange to not do it. So that part, of course, I love. And it was also great just hanging out with girlfriends again. You know, I've been sort of spending a lot of time by myself or with my family, and now it was sort of time to get back out there, go on these vacations, go crazy, go have fun, you know, and just hang out with girls, which was a really good time.
But how do you feel about Ashley and Monique?
And Robin.
I don't know. There's always been a disconnect between me and Robin. I don't know why. I feel like she seems really laid back and stuff, but actually it's very difficult to get close to her. So for some reason, we just never really clicked. Monique, it was really actually very difficult to get to know her as well this time, because Katie was more in party mode and Monique was pregnant, like very pregnant. And, you know,
yeah.
So I was like, shots. And she was not into it, you know? So I think she was a little put off by some of my behavior. We went to New Orleans and things got a little crazy. You know, for me, it was the perfect time to let loose, and maybe for her, it was time to go to bed and rub some shea butter on her belly or something. So she was like a little bit, you know, we weren't that tight. Who else? Ashley, ooh, so much was going on, as you guys could see.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that. It's going to play out in a really interesting way.
Some of it's already playing out, like in the media, you know, we're already getting pieces of it. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out on the show.
Yeah. Well, luckily she's doing well now and all of that stuff. But yeah, it was a really tough period of time, I think, for her. So, but
Do
I
you-
love Ashley.
Do you think that the girls were there for her? Did they rally around her, or it was more like, oh, we'll use these to bring her down?
It was both. It was a perfect combination of both. It was like, obviously you could see people voicing their opinions about, I guess, behavior that's always sort of been there with Michael, or accusations. I think it was, she was sticking up for her husband, as she should, and also I think probably dealing with a lot of stuff privately that we're going to find out about. I'm just assuming. I mean, Ashley's very strong. She's not.
Yeah.
She might come off as though she's just being like smiling at the president after he's done something wrong and clapping for him type of thing. She's really not that type of woman. She's very feisty. So I'm sure that they had their conversations and their pain in their marriage, and that she had to really work through that, with him. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what those scenes were like.
Yeah.
For
She's
sure.
a survivor. She's like a fighter, for sure.
She is, yeah.
Like, I'm really happy that she's pregnant right now. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how that storyline is gonna play out. Well, I mean, it's a storyline for the show, but she lived it.
Yeah.
So it must have been difficult, but yeah, I definitely want to see how that all is gonna happen. And yeah.
I did feel a little nauseous watching that sex scene between the two of them in
the
episode
first
one. I could have lived my entire life and not seen that. I mean, that was just woo. I was like,
a little much. A little much.
it definitely was a little much. And then shady production.
I know, boom.
Fast forward 2 months, then they go back 2 months. I mean, as a viewer, it's super entertaining, but at the same time, like knowing that this is a real person and this is happening in the real life, wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think that would be really difficult in your experience and in everyone's experiences on the show, is that your life is being made entertainment for other people, and sometimes production wants to make it as entertaining as possible.
Right. Yeah. Very entertaining. But I mean, yeah, real damage can be done. I mean, that's a big deal. Criminal charges, stuff like that. That's that can really affect your entire life,
Absolutely.
forever. So it's like, it's a brave thing to put everything out there, but then you also have to always wonder. I mean, I think Monique made a good point about this. You got these people in your home and in your life, and they're recording, and everything's being recorded. And it's like, it just takes one accusation to really, rip you apart. So it's kind of scary, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, and especially like being on TV, I think that there's a lot of people out there who would, would try to go after you.
Right. Yes. That's exactly the point, so it's sort of, I think Monique was the one who said, you've got these people in your house and you're kind of just trusting the process, but then what if someone, has some malicious intent towards you, and, that could happen. So
Definitely.
We have to be careful, I think, going forward.
Yeah. So for this season, are there any interesting alliances that we're going to see, or scandals aside from the ones that we've already kind of discussed? Anything exciting coming up? Any tea to spill?
Well, you guys know I'm not allowed to say that. They're gonna, I'll get beaten in the street if I do. No, I'll see. What am I saying? You have to watch and see. Sure. I can't take anything away from the excitement that's going to happen, but there are some fun trips. There are some, really hysterical moments, and some really good times and some really, really tough times. Yeah. I honestly think it's going to be one of the best seasons after I join.
Yes.
After episode 3, it'll get really good.
Really good.
I'm sure I cannot wait for tomorrow's episode.
Yeah.
Because our Katie will be there.
Yes, absolutely. So we have something that we always wanted to know.
Okay.
Who is different on camera when the cameras are rolling, and then they change when the cameras aren't rolling?
Ooh. Well, I think.
I don't want you to get in trouble. But
No, say it.
I mean, I felt this time around that like season one, I felt like Giselle was a lot different on camera than she was off camera.
Okay.
Um, and sort of didn't even seem like at least with me that she wanted to even talk to me if there wasn't a camera around. So that really annoyed me, and I let her know that. And this time it was very different. I felt like she was really looking for friendship and for connection and all that type of stuff. And maybe it had taken the years and like the kind of the toll that it takes on you personally to kind of get her to be more of like a real friend.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But anyone else who kind of like...
I'm real all the time.
Yes.
Yes.
We know that. But yeah, so it's interesting because you never know. You're like, are they just putting it on for the camera or... So it's...
Well, I mean, you can't help but be aware when there's a camera on, and I mean, even if the, periods will go by where you sort of just like get used to it, that there's something of a heightened awareness about everything that you're doing. So I do think that after filming has gone on for probably like a month, that things get a little bit more natural. But yeah, it's like you can see it; they're there, in your face, yeah.
So you're excited for the season? You think it's going to be amazing?
I think it's going to be awesome. I think that it's going to be one of the best seasons that they've had. I think that it's exciting. It's different. I like that I even liked in the first episode how they kind of, forewarned you of like things that were going to happen. And, maybe that's because the filming did happen almost a year ago, but I liked that it was shot a little bit differently.
Yeah.
The film crew that was there, they kind of like did some edgier, cooler scenes and stuff. So I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be so cool.
Yes. Once I was watching these episodes back from the first season, I remember your farm and your ranch, and amazing. I know you bought it when you were very successful at modeling. You decided to invest. But what happened with that ranch or with that farm? Do you still have it?
I do. So it's called Sunny Hill Farm, and it's in Lincoln, Virginia, which is beautiful. And I have a 200-year-old log cabin on the property.
Wow.
And I sort of I bought this house, I think I was, well, I'm not going to age myself here. It was 2005, though. 2005. And I was doing really well with modeling. I was living in New York, though, and I had this fantasy of having this really equestrian lifestyle. And it was great, kind of got away from New York, but then I had to pay for it. So then I had to go back to New York so that I could work. But it was like my dream house, and I've been spending a lot of time there the past few years. I kind of, when I stepped away from the show, and I really needed some privacy and some time to heal about, the things that we discussed with, some of the stuff that had come up in my personal life. That's where I retreated to. And it was great. I've got 18 acres. It's just like these rolling hills. It's gorgeous Virginia countryside. So it was a really fabulous place to be. And I actually had the ladies come out last summer and spend some time there. And I was trying to give them that experience. And I don't know if I was successful at all. You'll have to see what happens. It's supposed to be a peaceful place. I will say that. And they're not famous for being peaceful. So.
No, they're not.
So we're going to get to see it this season.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes. It's going to, I have an event there. So I called it a hoedown.
Oh. The hoedown. So the ladies did not behave then?
I mean, they're not famous for good behavior. So I don't know what I was really expecting, but I tried to get everyone to...
Ooh, I cannot wait to
I know.
see that.
It's so good.
Yes. And in the meantime, while you're not there, what goes on at the farm?
Well, so the farm is, like I said, it's a retreat. It's a place for healing. It's a place for really enjoying nature.
Yeah.
And so basically my mom is out there now taking care of the property for me while I'm here in LA. But we are having several events. We're partnering with the Boys and Girls Clubs. They've been they've come out 2 times now, and will be coming out again soon, May 18th and 19th. We're having an open house. But it's really great because, you get a bus full of city kids, bring them out to the country, do these arts and crafts projects, let them kind of, tool around, see the cows, see the horses, have a really beautiful experience in the country, which is not something that that they're used to every day. And then they can do a piece of artwork. We have an artist who's working with the Boys and Girls Clubs and the Rost Foundation at the farm to have these events. So it's really exciting. So we're having an open house on May 18th and 19th, and anyone can come out and just be in nature and enjoy some art projects and go on nature walks and pet some ponies and just spend a day in the country.
Amazing.
I want to go see the ponies. Are we allowed to go?
Ponies and goats. So
Ooh.
cute. What's not to love?
I know.
What is not to? Exactly. That's wonderful.
It's wonderful,
But
but
you can find out all about it on, obviously I'm highlighting it on my Instagram page, and then you can also go to katierost.com and, get all the information. So, and it's completely free, open house for people to come and really just enjoy the country.
that's amazing. I think that if you're watching and you can make it, you should definitely go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Come to Virginia.
Yeah, I'm going to try to.
What about the Ross Foundation? You talked about that on the first season. Any updates about it?
So the Rost Foundation is sort of the philanthropic entity that's allowing us to do these events with the Boys and Girls Clubs. So that's how we're kind of financing the whole thing. And that's why it's really important that it's completely free. It's open access. We're bringing these kids in on buses and making sure that they get to have a really great outdoorsy experience and do their arts and crafts and just, have a peaceful time in nature and, kind of get out of the city for a while. So that's what the Rost Foundation is focused on right now.
That's fantastic.
I would love to do more with arts in the DC area. So that's something I'm going to put on the schedule. I kind of usually do like maybe 1 or 2 events a year with the Rost Foundation. It's not like a full-time job. It's to really celebrate and remember my father. But we're a small family foundation. We're not the Gates Foundation.
Okay.
I caught a lot of flack for like not doing enough, but at least I do the things that I think would make my father really proud and happy.
Well,
And I
that's
think
wonderful.
that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
That you're doing things that would make him happy, and that you're also making these kids happy. It's not every day that someone opens their property and it's like, hey, it's free, come, let's play, let's do some art, pet the ponies, the goats, and just have fun.
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
really something amazing, Katie, honestly, that you're doing
I'm
right
going to
there.
hire you to do my commercials for me.
He would do it.
I'm available. I'm available. You already have my number, girl.
I do. I'm going to speed dial you. I'll be like, oh my God, come on out.
And
Host
I'll
an event.
I'll even do it for free.
Okay.
It's a good
I'll
deal.
hold you to that.
Girl.